read your mind. He can know what you want, and you can just do what you want. So anyway, we spent our time in the ashram, and Guruji then personally met us, and we were. What was amazing is we were doing seva, and Shirish was doing garden seva, and he was removing these big rocks away from out of the way. In those days, the ashram was just rocks. It was not what it looks like now. It was a very different place. So now it's the last day of our stay there, and it was also the last day of the advanced course that was happening. And of course, the satsang was like really, really amazing and wild, because there was a lot of Americans in ashram at that time too. And in the old hall, there was like sand on the floor, big grains of sand, white sand, beautiful. And it was huge rugs over it. And when satsang was over, Shirish, we go to the divine shop, and he notices that his diamond had fallen off his ring. Now, he then tells me, go into the hall and see if you can find the diamond. I mean, really now. In those days, in my life, the stage of my life, it was better for me to do something, rather to do it and get it over and done with, than to argue that I shouldn't be doing something so stupid. So anyway, I just said, yes, okay, fine. So now I'm walking. This is like 12 at night. I'm walking in a pathway. It's raining, and I'm walking, and I'm talking to Guruji. In my mind, I'm saying, Guruji, this stupid man, I can't tell him to his face, stupid man, but I'm saying to myself, I'm talking to Guruji, because I can say anything that I want to Guruji. So I say, this stupid man, he lost his diamond from his ring, and he wants me to go and find it. Anyway, I walked, and I get into the hall. So when I get into the hall, there was about 3 teachers sitting there, and I said, Ruweida, what are you doing here? And I said to them, oh, Shirish lost his diamond from his ring, and is asking me to come and find it. And they burst out laughing, because, everybody knows that he's very naughty. Shirish is very naughty. And they also know that I just do everything that he tells me to do. So anyway, I go there and I walk towards the front, Now you must know this hall's only got sand on the floor. How on earth can you find a diamond? Even if you have to drop it in your room, you can't find a diamond. I walk into this hall, and I got stopped in my tracks. Out of the ground, out of the sand, there was this huge light, as big as my hand. It was shining. I didn't even bend down to look. I just bent down and I picked up something, and that was the diamond. Now I stood dumbstruck and I looked at this diamond. I couldn't believe it was the diamond. And by then Shirish comes in and he says to me, hey, Manya, that's his pet name for me. Manya meaning stupid, right? So he says, hey, Manya, what you doing there? So I turned around and I said to him, I found the diamond. And they all just laughed. They laughed and laughed because they thought, I'm just bluffing. And I showed them, yeah, I found the diamond. Anyway, we went back to our rooms. The next day we were traveling with Guruji to Madras. And I was sitting a row in front of Guruji, and it was Banu Didi and the husband next to Guruji. So I wrote on a piece of paper, thank you. And I passed it to Banu Didi, to the back. I said, give it to Guruji. And she gives it to Guruji, opens it. He says, you found the diamond. How did he know? I only wrote, thank you. And Guruji says, you found a diamond. You know, this is so amazing because when Shirish told me he lost the diamond, my heart sank because that is his wedding ring. And we come to the ashram and we had lost the diamond. So my heart was so heavy. But Guruji found it for me. So this is just so amazing. So amazing. It's, my Guru stories is unbelievable. If I don't have proof of it, you will never believe it. Because of course, we don't know who we're dealing with.
Well, all your Guru stories are of a different dimension, it seems.
Yes, absolutely. It's like, it's like only art of living people can understand this.
Yeah. And
I cannot tell to other people. They cannot fathom it,
yeah.
So.
See, but I think a person who is receiving such movements with Gurudev also needs certain element of innocence in oneself, because we say Guru is like a mirror. So if you are too much into your logical mind, probably he also functions with you in that mode. But people who are very innocent and they are very open, and the Gurudev also reciprocates his mystical nature or his love in that manner, it seems.
Oh yeah, I had a glimpse of who I'm dealing with. It is not that physical body. I can tell you this. People have no idea who they're dealing with. No idea. And for me, it's like I eat, breathe, sleep, Guru. If I can actually say, you can edit this, whatever. But for me, coming from a Muslim background and not even being able to say Om, I have experienced God. Now I have experienced God. That for me is experiencing God. And all these practices made me a better Muslim. Before I would just take Ramadan so lightly or whatever, if I missed a day, it's okay, I won't pay it back and all that kind of thing. But now I'm so diligent with my Muslim practices, not only Muslim practices, Hindu practices, Navaratri. I will fast from Ramadan into Navaratri. And it coexists. And I would give up something for Lent. I love all religions. I take out the best out of all religions and I practice that. As passionate as I am about Islam, I'm passionate about Hinduism, and I'm passionate about Christianity. And that makes my life so rich. And that is all because of Gurudev. That was my life, gave me my life back. Really. So I belong to him. And whatever I do for Gurudev. My whole life. And I have medical evidence regarding that. That, my condition, how it was, and how it became after I did. After I don't know if it's Sudarshan Kriya but for me it's after my life with Gurudev. I'm here because of Gurudev. And the specialists that saw to me during that time, even her husband had a Guru moment, which he publicly spoke about in front of hundreds of people when he attended the talk when Gurudev was there. He went up on stage. This is the Professor Kuvadia. He's a medical professor, and he was his wife, who's a dermatologist, was my doctor. So he took very ill in hospital. It was a botched up operation like some 20 years ago that he had in his stomach. And he was critically ill. There was nothing that the doctors can do. At that time, I had just done the blessing course. And his sister then comes to me and she says, please, can you go to hospital and bless this Dr. Kuvadia? So I go to hospital and I see my doctor there too. And I go there. By this time, this man cannot even eat. Nothing can go in. They said it's a matter of time. So I go there and I give him blessing. And then the next day I go there and they say he's been discharged. In fact, after the blessing, he couldn't eat anything, nothing. After the blessing, he sat up and he said he says he wants something to drink. And I said to, I don't know where I got this thought from, but I said to my doctor, give him Coke. And she gave him a Coke. And then he wanted another one. And I said, give him another one. And so, of course, the next day it was like these small little Cokes. So the next day when I went there, I learned that he was discharged. So I phoned his wife and she says, please come home. You know, he's discharged. They just discharged him this evening. And I go there and this man is fine. So then he came when Guruji visited South Africa for the Health and Happiness course. And my doctor then also spoke about the benefit of the health and happiness and how it healed me as a patient. And she explained my condition. Then Professor Kuvadia also went up on stage and he explained his condition, how he was, and just with blessing, how he came back to life. So therefore, the blessing is for that we have is just it's the most enormous gift from Guruji that has passed on to us. You know, this is so amazing. And he's giving us so much because Gurudev knows that he cannot be everywhere. There's so much in the world that needs attention to, and therefore he has passed it on to us to pass it on to all people that needs this knowledge and to just touch their lives. Yes.
So you do a lot of seva and you also hosted Gurudev in South Africa. So saying that when you started in Art of Living, the Art of Living was not that much active in South Africa. And you were the first teacher. So how you formed an organization and how the whole movement took a shape?
Okay, so when I started the first course, there was no Art of Living in South Africa. In fact, Guruji, some teacher had come 2 years prior to that, but to Johannesburg. And they had...
Gurudev never had visited South Africa before that.
No.
Okay.
No. So they had some course and they had an advanced course, but you know, sometimes we start in a place and then it doesn't materialize, it doesn't grow. So this is what happened until Gurudev came and he attended a university program. And he then told Brahmatij to come to Durban, that a couple is waiting for him, as I said before. So since Brahmatij came to Durban, he came and he stayed with us. And we then formed the center and I became the palm. In those days, there was no trust or anything like that. It was a palm. It was called a palm. And of course, we started organizing courses and growing Art of Living in South Africa. And then my house then became like an ashram, right? Everything was happening there. Satsang was happening there. And then the A team of teachers came over to South Africa. Guruji sent the A team. That was before Guruji's visit to South Africa. He sent the A team to South Africa. And we then dispatched the teachers all over South Africa to go and do courses and prepare for Guruji's visit. And it was, the teachers were like, it was Rishi Nitya Prag. It was Nitin by then. And of course, Bharat Bhai was staying with us. And then Nitin came, Tanuja came, Vikram, and Vinod Bhai came, Sangeeta Teran, and Anand. Yeah. So they all came, and we were preparing for Guruji's visit. So Guruji, they decided Guruji was going to stay at our place when he comes. And this was now very big for me because I was hosting Guruji and Banu Didi. Banu Didi came along with Guruji. So now I, in my own house, wouldn't go near Guruji. I couldn't even look at him. I was in such awe of Guruji that I will stare at him. You know, I only have eyes for Guruji, and I'll stare at him, but the minute he looks at me, I'll look away. And I could not go in the same room as him. I mean, he's sitting in our home. I mean, the normal thing is you want to be there next to him. I would hide behind a pillar and watch him from behind the pillar. And Guruji calls me, but I wouldn't go. I was in such awe of Guruji until one night, a few of the teachers, they just dragged me up the stairs. Guruji was staying in my room and I wouldn't even go there. So they dragged me up the stairs, and it was Bharat Bhai and Vikram, and they pulled me up the stairs and they pulled me into the room. And now when I get to the room, I still wouldn't look at Guruji. I'm sitting and I'm looking at Brahma Tej. Then Guruji asked me, why are you looking at him? And then I said, oh, am I supposed to look at you? I mean, I was so stupid. Around Guruji, I felt like a 14-year-old girl, you know, doing the most stupid things. So this is what happened. And of course, we did a lot of seva in child shelters, taking the children off the streets, giving them the Art Excel course. By then, we had Art Excel teachers, 2 Art Excel teachers, and encouraging the kids to go back home because they run away from home and they live on the streets. And then so also like doing a lot of seva. Also in the prisons, we did prison smart programs and stuff like that. We started it in Durban, Westville. It was Vikram and Shirish. And then, of course, from there it grew. And today we have an amazing prison smart going on. And like we've got beautiful videos of the prison smart. Yeah. So my seva was basically giving my home as a center and working full-time for Art of Living. I became a full-time teacher and organizing courses and encouraging people to opening up centers around Africa and nurturing volunteers to become teachers.
You also hosted Women's Conference in South Africa. International Women's Conference.
Yeah, being a gender-based activist, when Guruji's second visit to South Africa, that was the health and happiness, when we had the health and happiness. And we hosted a women's conference, And I decided that we're going to honor women. You know, usually it is just the men, especially in the political arena. It's the ministers and it's the leaders, political leadership always, that receives these awards, but nobody thinks of the woman. And this was honoring women who has lost life, loved ones, and limbs, and being in a struggle for a just society. So I thought it was, you know what, the men can be leaders because and political activists, while the women had to stay at home and burn the fires and raise their families by themselves. So I just felt it was so important to award the woman and honoring the woman for their role in a struggle to a just society. And we always, all the time, encourage women in Africa to attend the International Women's Conference, because we really have a conference with a difference. And you know, like, there's so much of gender-based violence going on, and if women just gets into an international platform or space, there is so much that they can share with one another, and also learning that it is just a common thread that's happening all over the world. And we can share our experiences with women internationally. And also, it would be very nice if we can start exchanging ideas, especially for women to start their own business and becoming an entrepreneur. We have many housewives. A housewife is so powerful because she manages the whole household. It is a woman that gives birth to a president, to a minister, to a guru. So women are very powerful.
President to minister to guru, a woman has given birth. So true.
Yes.
So
And
true.
you know, they are the fabric of the society.
You yourself, you have traveled internationally in different countries for seva, even for art of living projects. And I'm sure when a teacher is traveling to a different country, from my own experience, or experience of all a teacher is, there are so many miracles. You feel like things are happening for you. You feel Gurudev's presence. So I think you travel to Zimbabwe, you travel to Botswana, and even other countries. How was
Yes.
your experience traveling as a teacher?
You know, when you're traveling, that is when Guru is actually walking right next to you.